What's up, friends and family? Hello. Oh my gosh. This has been the longest time that I've been away from Radiant Rap. Welcome. This is Radiant Rap. I'm just playing, but I'm not because this is Radiant Rap. And all year, I think before the last 2 weeks, every single Thursday at 5 p.m., I was on live on Facebook. It was a goal I set for the beginning of the year, and I kept to it. I kept to that commitment just to not be scared of y'all, for one, um, to try my best to add value, to share some of my knowledge. I know a few things. And yeah, so the last 2 weeks, I've been on an airplane at this time, and it was fabulous. I traveled, Kevin and I, for our 33rd wedding anniversary. We went to San Diego. We had a fabulous time. We've been a lot of different places. There's so many places that are on our list of places to go, but we've been to quite a few places. We've been to Spain, and we've been to Paris, and we've been to London, and we've been to a lot of the states. He's been more places than me. We've been to several places in the Caribbean, but we went to San Diego and we loved it. And we both thought that that was one of the best vacations we've ever had. It was just so good. And the weather wasn't even perfect, which is surprising for San Diego because in San Diego, the weather is always perfect. It wasn't perfect. There was maybe one or two perfect days, but it was, I almost like bought clothes, like a bunch. I did that once. One time we went to Toronto, and it was in the middle of the summer. It was supposed to be hot, and it was cold. And I bought a ton of clothes. I mean, and we had to get new luggage because it was a great excuse to shop, right? But nah, this time I didn't do that. I just made do. It was okay. They had rain one day. When it rained, it was the first day it had rained in San Diego since January. So that's how unusual the weather was. It was crazy. But we had a marvelous, marvelous time. And I am really glad to be back. Oh, the we're going to talk about, I'm going to share with you about the chakras and meditation, but I also wanted to share with you that a project that I had worked on, that was the other time, the only other time that I wasn't on a Thursday. I was traveling that time too, and I had done some video recording. I was really blessed to have an opportunity to do a project with Tivity Health and Silver Sneakers. And one of those projects, we worked on a couple of different things, but one of them was published or aired or whatever you want to say this week. And you can see it. Anyone can participate. It's like a 4-week challenge. It's like 10-minute segments or 10-minute workouts that anyone can do. You don't have to be a Silver Sneakers member. You can go to silversneakers.com, and then you put in the menu, you go to articles. Go to silversneakers.com, go to articles, click articles, and each day, I think 4 or 5 days a week, there's a new segment, a new workout for you. So it's pretty cool. And I really enjoyed doing that. It was a ton of fun, and I really appreciate them inviting me to do it. Yeah, you don't have to be a Silver Sneakers member. And there was one other thing I should have wrote the notes down. But if you if you're on the newsletter, you already know that because I put that in the newsletter, but I don't think I put in there that you don't have to belong to Silver Sneakers. Just go there every day and you will be a part of this program for the month of October. And then, oh yeah, there's quite a few people killing it on the lean body system. So if you want more information about that, let me know. So this is what I want to say about my okay, I'm back. Oh, technical difficulties, I guess, but I'm back. Okay, so this is what I want to say. Sorry about that. About meditation and chakras. First of all, let me give a disclaimer that I am a work in progress. There is so much that I don't know. I'm forever the student and forever will be the student. I have been practicing different forms of meditation my whole life, really. So meditation is just becoming more aware, and I was not necessarily good at it always, but one of my students was sharing today that she had her children, and her children are grown. Her children have grandchildren, that she had them be quiet, sit still, be quiet. No phone, no TV, nothing, just being quiet. And that's a form of meditation. A lot of schools are starting to do that and integrating that into their curriculum because the children need it. They're stimulated all the time. So what I'm sharing with you today is from my experience, okay, and from my study, all right, and how I put it together and how I practice it, okay. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring it up, what made me think about bringing it up, one, because in my training that I'm doing, we've been talking about chakras, we've been studying them, and a friend, really good friend and client of mine came to me this week and said that at their job, they were doing transcendental meditation, and she's a healthcare provider, right? So they were going to be doing for their employees a meditation, and she wasn't sure because of the name that it was given if it were a good idea to do it, and she wanted my opinion. I told her by all means to do it because her job, one, is very stressful. Two, when you're in a setting like that and you're offered, like at your job, and you're offered meditation, it's going to be a very generic form of meditation that can unify. So in a meditation, in a setting like that, it doesn't matter if you're Muslim, if you're Buddhist, if you're Christian, you can sit there in a work setting, in a school setting, and you focus on your belief, on who you pray to, right? So when they took prayer out of school, they can't really take prayer out of school because you can pray, right? And so I encouraged her to do it because I think that it will help her, and it certainly will not spiral her into something that she doesn't or should not do. You see, whenever you go into a meditation, or if you're praying, because all it is becoming more aware. That's it. So whenever you go into a meditation, you pray to who you pray to. No one is going to tell me if I'm praying, and a lot of times it will come in that the meditation, it will, it will have some aspects of, for me, not for everyone, but some aspects of who am I talking to? God. I'm talking to God. But so that's one. So I encouraged her to do that. Now, if you're in a different setting, right? You're in I don't know. It's a more religious setting. You're in a mosque or something. That's different, right? But there has to. I shouldn't say there has to be. It's important to me to have a distinction between cultural reference, right, and a religious reference. And there's a lot of aspects of meditation, of yoga, that are universal. They bring together, not separate. Okay? So the practice is here, and then different religions, okay, have their differential things. Now, a lot of people will say, well, but it came from or came out of, yeah, well, if something was discovered or came out of a particular culture, then it's going to have or could have aspects of that culture. So that's one. When you're meditating, just meditate to and pray to your belief. Okay? That's what I do. Always. Number 2, when we're talking about chakras, for me, chakras, I first began studying it from a scientific perspective. And I love that because I love seeing how science and spirituality are uniting. And I've been fortunate enough and blessed enough that I've even been able to share at church. We've had a couple of workshops there, and other at the studio that I was leasing space from at the Y. So over the years, I would say in the past 5-6 years, I've done several workshops on it, and more so from a scientific perspective. Okay. One of the neuroscientists that I really like, Joe Dispenza, I have an affinity to him anyway because he's a Rutgers graduate, but he's done a lot of work with energy centers from the scientific perspective, but you cannot ignore, right? You can't, if you can, it's hard to ignore the phenomenon, the spirituality in it. But he absolutely comes from a scientific perspective. He's a neuroscientist. And so does Dr. Drew Childrey Jr. I will, Michelle. I will definitely let you know. And we will do other workshops. I've just been, like for me, the last 2 years, it's been extra careful about COVID and, doing less, But Dr. Lou Childrey Jr. and the Heart Math Institute, they do a lot of work scientifically on energy centers. And even And then it goes into the whole, spirit, like Marianne Williamson, she's, right there too. And then, so I study that. And then my yoga teachers over the years have been amazing, like Wendy at Wendy Fit, Richard Homestead. Well, Richard, I just would follow him like wherever he's teaching, like that would determine what studio I was going to, because I just, I think he's amazing. And right now he's working with a lot of veterans and, yeah, people that are dealing with trauma. So that's what he's doing. And I just believe that God is, I've been really blessed to find the really good teachers and be led, because I mean, there's no way you can kind of make this stuff up or make it happen, just trusting that I'm going to be where I'm supposed to be. I'm going to learn what I'm supposed to learn at the time that I'm supposed to learn it. And so now being with Jennifer, my teacher now in teacher training, I'm just getting more hours in that, and at Pose by Pose, that's a therapeutic studio, and I just love her. It's just what I needed. It just fits in so beautifully with my journey, my overall 58, almost 59-year-old journey, and then my professional journey over the last 20 years. It's just awesome. So chakras, I'm keeping it simple and more on the scientific side. And let me just say this too, that I take some from the science, some from the yogi, so it doesn't match exactly. So I don't need you to, oh, you're wrong, and that was, I don't need you to do that. I'm telling you how I have interpreted. One day it'll be in my book, because this is what I am gathering in and I'm taking in from my experience and for who I am, right? And so, like for Joe Dispenza, he talks a whole lot about the hypothalamus when he talks about energy centers. And that is a hormonal center, right? And we have more than just the chakras, actually, which Jennifer was talking about this past weekend in a training I was doing. But those are we talk about the primary ones. And Joe Dispenza, he talks about the hypothalamus that's in the brain. And I focus on that a lot, but I'm not talking about that today in this setting. So the energy centers are simply your hormonal centers. Your hormonal centers send messages from your brain through your spinal cord. They send messages directly secreted right out to the bloodstream, right? To your organs, telling your organs what to do and how to act together, because they're all systems, right? You have atoms combine together to make cells. One atom has a nucleus. It is designed. All atoms are not the same when they come together with other atoms, and they have a particular function. When they come together, they form cells. When those cells form together, depending on how they interconnect, then they make tissues. And then depending on how those tissues form together, those tissues make, or some of them make organs. And then those organs, how those organs function together, becomes a system of the body. Okay? The reproductive system, the digestive system, the neuroskeletal system, okay? They become systems of the body. And so from a scientific perspective, that is all the chakras are. And I'm fascinated by them. So there's and so you see these pictures, and you can, especially in my background, like Black or African American church, we get spooked out, like it's scary thing. But when you look at it like that, it's not. So yeah, you see those pictures like with someone sitting in a yogi position and they have the colors going up, red, orange, yellow, and the circles coming out, and you look at it and you're like, ooh, that's so weird. But that's what it is. Those are the energy centers. So for the purpose of my study, they are the root chakra, or the root energy center, and that's at the base of the spine, or the perineum. Okay, and so it is the energy center, and this will vary a little bit too, because they are all interconnected. So some might say it a little different. Oh no, that's not the one that does that. But it is the root chakra. It is the base of your, or below your spine, right? Your perineum. Okay. And it is related to being anchored and grounded. Okay. That's that chakra. And then the second chakra, 2 inches below the belly, is your sacral chakra. And the sacral chakra is related to emotions and intimacy. And a lot of people will tell you that that's related to family, because it's where your sexual glands are, and organs. So it's related to family, emotions, and intimacy. Then there's the solar plexus, and the solar plexus is about 2 inches above your navel, and that's actually like where your gut is, where your adrenal glands are. That's your fight or flight, your survival center, right there, and that's related to wisdom and power, because it's connected to your ego, fight or flight, right? It's connected to your ego. And where your gut is, there's different sayings. I have a gut feeling, or I can't stand his guts. I mean, some of that comes out of the truth, because you can feel your fight or flight. Sometimes we as children are taught to ignore those feelings, but and that was a point that was reiterated again this weekend with Jennifer, was talking about like when a child has that gut feeling, like they don't want to approach Uncle so-and-so, they don't want to give Uncle so-and-so a hug, or Aunt so-and-so, they have a feeling that they don't want to do that. And a lot of times we'll force them, oh, go ahead and give them a hug, to do it and to work against that. So a lot of times we have to retrain ourselves to listen to what our gut tells us. Okay. And then the next center is the heart. And so the heart is the center for love and healing. Love and healing. And that pretty much separates those centers, the carnal, the human, I can't say human, what's the word that I want to use for those centers, are all related to our survival, I guess I would say. And then once you go above the heart, you go into your throat. That's the next chakra or hormonal center that is really we focus on. And that's our thyroid, really. That center includes our thyroid. And it's related to our voice, our truth, knowing when to speak and when to not speak. Okay. Then you may have heard of the third eye. That's the next chakra. And that's our intuition. That's our awareness. That's our mindful. That's that part that really connects with the heart, but it's a perception. That's why they call it the third eye. And then the crown chakra, which is really just like the top of the head, but really technically a little bit above the head, and that's what connects us to our spirituality. And like this weekend when we were studying chakras, my teacher said something like, I can't remember exactly what she said, but she said something like, if you stay up in this part of the chakras, then you're just really, so spiritual and kind of light and love. And if you're always there, then you're not going to get things done, right? You're not going to be responsible and take care of your responsibilities. And my Pastor Jones used to say it like this. Some of us are so spiritually minded, we're no earthly good, So we want to have the balance, right? To take care of our bodies and the spiritual aspect of who we are. Anybody have an idea of what would be the connecting chakra or the most important chakra? Because I believe that there is one that if we take care of that one chakra, then everything else would be taken care of. And that's the heart. That's the heart chakra. So I don't believe that anyone needs to study chakras. It's not something that you have to do, but you have to be mindful of your heart and what your intentions are, why you do what you do, what is in your heart. The Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. Yep. Well, you were right. Michelle, it's the heart. And like I said, it all works together. So in this type of meditation, and most days I do it, and you could focus a meditation on one area or the other, another area, but a lot of times I like to go through the chakras. So as part of my quiet time, depending on how, I like to have as much time as I need to not have to worry about time, which is cool when I wake up super early in the morning. I don't have to worry about my alarm or whatever. But if I don't wake up super early in the morning, I still have 15, 20 minutes where usually I can kind of go through my chakras. I just don't like to be in a rush when I can. So I'll start at the bottom one, the foundation, the anchor chakra, and I'll just think on that and the area around that chakra or that area around that hormonal system. And when I bring my attention, my awareness to that, and I'm breathing into that chakra, I start thinking on love and compassion and healing and forgiveness and whatever higher elevated emotions that come to me to bring wellness to that area, right? And then I bless that chakra because they are sending messages all the time to the organs in that area. So if there's something, especially if there's something going on, they'll say if the chakra is blocked or whatever. Like I said, I'm still learning a lot about chakras and stuff, but I know that when we are constantly stressed, when we're constantly criticizing, angry, fearful at ourselves or someone else, it's not good for the body, right? So we have to undo some of that, or we have to intentionally counter that. See, and the more we practice doing it, the more we can get some of that out of the DNA, you know, and some of the generational curses. You understand? Because we can be, you know, in church and we, you know, profess our love and our belief, but we're still so sick, and we're still craving things that are not healthy for us. So the more we can spend time, I ain't gonna preach to you, but I'm just saying, the more we can spend time focusing and inviting that love into that area. So usually, let me go ahead and quickly finish. You focus on the area, send messages of love or encouragement or whatever those higher elevated emotions are, and then actually bless the center. Bless the center. That is what I'll do, and then move to the next, and then do that. Focus on that center. Bless it. Think of it. You know, joy, forgiveness. You know, love, whatever those emotions are that come to me, and usually I'll have already had some, you know, type of prayer. I wake up, as soon as I wake up, it's like, thank you, Lord. Gratitude is a big one. It's huge, 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 because when you're feeling grateful, then a lot of goodness can flow from just being grateful. So no, I'm not perfect. I screw up every day. And prayerfully, every day I am getting, or, you know, becoming a little better, you know, because it's my desire to be pleasing to God, right? And to be my highest self, my best self. But certainly, I'm no better than anyone, and I some of the things that I study, just like you have your gifts and the things that you study, I have the gifts within the things that I study. I learn from you, you learn from me, and my friend Jordan Kemper, and I don't know if I'm sure he does. It's still incorporated. His company is One Body, and I've always loved that name because we are one body. If they hurt, we all hurt. If they're in trouble, we're all in trouble. If I'm sick, we all have sickness, you know, because this is it. This is it. We, you know, are one, whether we want to believe it or not, and we want to focus on our differences. We are more alike than we are different. And so, by us taking care of ourselves, then it will help us to and love ourselves. It will help us to best take care and love one another. So that's what my meditation is about. That's what the chakras are about for me. If you have any questions, whether you're not too many of you are on live right now, but I do have. I know it's on two different pages on Facebook, so it's a couple of you watching. But whether you're watching live or you're watching it on the replay, um, you know, comment, ask any questions that you have. And even that, going back to that third chakra, the solar system, the adrenal glands, the fight or flight, um, not being, I'm really not tied to how many people, the right people will see this and it will resonate with them, even if it's one, right? And so I want to encourage you, wherever you are in your journey, to remember that you have greatness inside of you. Really do. You have greatness inside of you, that I believe in you. Start where you are, right? Start where you are. It's okay. You don't want to compare yourself to where this person is, that person is, I am. Start where you are. You have a purpose for being here. You were meant to shine. We were all meant to shine. I will talk to you next time. Bye for now.